All right. I do have another story today of another one of these anti-vax, unvaccinated people that has died of COVID. But this one is particularly insidious because of the details. This is someone who wanted to get infected. They wanted the immunity that they believed getting infected with the virus would give them, and they are now dead. Hana Horak, a Czech singer, is dead after intentionally getting infected with COVID. The BBC by Ben Tobias reporting on this. A folk singer from the Czech Republic has died after deliberately catching COVID. Hana Horak was 57 years old, was unvaccinated, posted on social media that she was recovering after testing positive, and was dead 2 days later. Her son said she got infected on purpose when he and his father had the virus so she could get a recovery pass to access certain venues. The Czech Republic reported a record number of COVID cases yesterday. Mr. Rek and his father, who were both fully vaccinated, both caught COVID over Christmas, but he said his mother decided not to stay away from them, preferring instead to expose herself. He said she should have isolated for a week because we tested positive, but she was with us the whole time. Proof of vaccination or recent infection from the virus is required in the Czech Republic to go to many venues, including movie theaters, bars, and cafes. His mother was a member of one of the oldest Czech folk groups, Asonance. She had wanted to catch COVID so there would be fewer restrictions on her. 2 days before she died, she wrote on social media she was recovering. Quote, "Now there will be a theater, sauna, a concert." Sunday morning, the day she died, she said she was feeling better and got dressed to go for a walk. Her back started hurting. She went to lie down in her bedroom. Her son says in 10 minutes, it was all over. She choked to death. Although she was unvaccinated, Jan, her son, stressed his mother didn't believe in some of the more bizarre conspiracy theories about COVID vaccines. Her philosophy was she was more okay with the idea of catching it than getting vaccinated. Not that we would get microchipped or anything like that. There was no point in trying to discuss the issue with her, as it would get too emotional. Instead, he hoped that by telling his story, he could convince others to get vaccinated. That's the hope. How scary is it that she felt good enough to go for a walk and 10 minutes later was dead? That is absolutely horrifying. And we talk about sympathy. Every one of these situations is different. But this is someone who not only refused to get vaccinated, but deliberately got sick. She deliberately exposed herself to the virus, refused the best protection we have against serious illness and death when we have a highly effective and protective vaccine. Where is this on the spectrum of sympathy? I don't know. And there's a case to be made that big picture, the recovery passes are kind of a silly idea. Now, if you test positive in another country and you can't get back to the U.S., and because you've tested positive, testing may not be accurate for a long period of time. In that situation, it makes sense to say, I believe this individual has recovered. They should be allowed to go back to the U.S. That makes sense to me. If you have as a policy to come to indoor restaurants, you got to be vaccinated, or to go to movie theaters, you've got to be vaccinated. Vaccinated or recovery certificate doesn't seem like a very good idea, particularly since we don't really know that much, particularly in the context of Omicron. For how long are you protected after recovery? We just don't know the answers to those questions. It seems problematic to me. And so her whole goal here was, let me get sick to get better, to be recovered, to then be able to go places without being vaccinated. Even the pretext of that, even that as a pretext, does not seem logical to me. But another tragic story, unvaccinated person says, I'm going to go and get myself sick in order to recover and have immunity. It didn't work. She is dead. And we will have more on this on our Instagram. You can find that at David Pakman Show on Instagram. You can also find me there at david.pakman. One of our sponsors today is Blue Chew, a unique online service delivering the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. And they're giving my audience an entire month's supply for free. So if you think you could benefit from an extra boost of confidence when it's time, all you have to do is take a short quiz on their website. A licensed doctor approves your prescription. The medication comes straight to your home within days in a discreet package. No driving around to the doctor's office or the pharmacy. No waiting around. No awkward conversations with your doctor. All of Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA. The entire process is just a few clicks. Go to bluechew.com. The link is underneath this video. They'll give you an entire month's supply for free when you use the promo code PACMAN. All you have to do is pay $5 shipping.